Welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today is day 3 of our 30-day video series, and today we are learning about ecosystems. Yesterday we talked about the environment, which is the surroundings or conditions in which a person, animal, or plant operates. Today we are talking about ecosystems. Ecosystems are similar to environments, but have one important difference. An ecosystem is the interaction between the environment and the living organisms in it. Organisms are an individual animal, plant, or single-celled life form. In an ecosystem, living things such as plants and animals, and non-living things such as sunlight, water, and climate have a complex relationship. This relationship creates a balance. Our friends at the World Wildlife Fund explain ecological balance as a state that is relatively stable but subject to gradual change through natural succession. So, for the most part, an ecosystem is stable in terms of animals and species. Species is a fancy word for animals, plants, or organisms that can breed together. This stability is created by roles in an ecosystem. Despite the differences in ecosystems, all have general roles that make up their living population. In an ecosystem, there are 3 main roles. Our first role is producers. The organisms that produce food are extremely important in every ecosystem. Organisms that produce their own food are called producers. Consumers are organisms that consume the energy produced by the producers. There are 3 kinds of consumers. The first kind of consumer is an herbivore. Herbivores eat producers directly. These animals break down the plant structures to get the materials and energy they need. The second kind of consumer is a carnivore. A carnivore eats animals. They can eat herbivores and other carnivores. And our last kind of consumer is an omnivore. Omnivores eat plants and animals as well as fungi, bacteria, and organisms from other kingdoms. And our last role is decomposers. A decomposer is an organism that decomposes or breaks down organic material such as the remains of dead organisms. Decomposers include bacteria and fungi. All of the ecosystems in the world, like forests, coral reefs, deserts, prairies, rainforests, savannas, tundras, and urban ecosystems, as well as others, make up a biosphere. A biosphere is all of the living components of the earth, humans, plants, animals, bacteria, fungi, protists, and all other microscopic organisms on land, in the air, and in the oceans. That's the general definition of a biosphere. But back to the ecosystem examples. There are large differences in ecosystems. Their climates, locations, animals, plants, and amounts of natural resources vary. For example, New York City is an urban ecosystem filled with tall buildings and lots of people. This is vastly different than a rainforest ecosystem, which is home to 10% of all of the species on Earth. That's 870,000 species that live in the Amazon rainforest. All ecosystems are different and require different care, but here are some pro tips for taking care of your ecosystem. If you are watching this video, it's likely that you have internet, which means you are probably pretty close to a city. That might mean that you live in an urban ecosystem. Urban ecosystems need a lot of care because they're heavily trafficked and used frequently. That's great, but a lot of people and cars and buses and houses and schools and restaurants and anything else you might have near where you live create a lot of waste. It might be common where you live to find trash or debris on the ground, or to see smog created from cars and vehicles in the air. These can be dangerous if they build up in our cities, towns, and in our world. But lucky for us, there are some easy solutions to help us manage our impact and our waste. We can use alternate modes of transportation, such as bikes, public transportation, or even walking. We can also pick up trash from our streets and local waterways, but remember to do so in a safe manner. If you aren't sure if it's safe, ask a trusted adult. That's all we have today. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you watching. Remember to come to our videos throughout the month of August. And with that, thanks for tuning in and keep yearning for learning.